Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Living on Lemony podcast. As always, I'm your host, Lauren. Welcome to episode 74. How did we get here? Oh my goodness. I next one's gonna be 75. Like we are chipping away towards 100 episodes. I think that is so wild and wonderful. I am I just recorded an episode and decided to record another one so that I'm organized for a couple weeks with it being just summer. And I guess I wanted to expand a little bit on what I was saying near the end of last episode when I was just talking about not like working that string of shifts and actually canceling a little trip we had. So we were planning to go to Wallaceburg, Ontario for I think it's called the Wallaceburg Antique Motor. I'm going to screw this up. Motor boat outing. I'm going to Google it while I'm talking. We went last year with Eric's cousin and wife, and it was super fun. We picked them up. They live on the St. Clair River, so we picked them up, uh, went down the river together. Wallaceburg Antique Motor and Boating Outing. That's right. So they have like wooden boats and they also have classic cars. So it's a neat event. It's nice to walk around. I grew up going to classic car shows with my dad, so it's got like real dad vibes there. And it's cool to see the old boats and just kind of wander around. So last year was super fun. This year, we don't know anyone we know one couple that'll probably be there with their car, but no one to come with us and stuff. So after working 7 out of 8 days, I started last Thursday. I had Friday off, and then I worked straight through finishing last night, which was Thursday again. All day shifts, which means 5 a.m. wake up call so I can do a bit of breathing and choose an oracle card for the day, kind of set an intention, see what little piece of wisdom, what card comes up, and start the day on a relaxed note, but it means getting up a little bit early. And then just having a long day, a 12-hour shift. I think one of them I worked 13 hours because I stayed late for someone. And yeah, it doesn't leave much energy or time in the evenings to do much. There were a couple days I had to do laundry, get caught up from being away on the boat, doing bedding, towels, clothes, and just kind of the normal stuff, switching out the dishes and whatever else, right? So in the evenings, that's usually when I come home. Oh, and I have to get groceries on my way home because I don't live in the same town I work. So I usually get groceries in town and then head home. So that's like when I get home, I don't usually get to relax right away. I have to put laundry in. Depending on the day, lately it's been pretty busy at work. So there's times when I probably should just do it. I did go yesterday. I went for a long walk. But sometimes I'm like, should I, especially if I'm working the safety side, it's like, should I be leaving right now? What if we get slammed with a bunch of cases? So there's been a couple of days where I didn't go out for a walk. And it's like, well, maybe I'll do it this evening. Or it's like 40 degrees, so I don't want to go out for a walk during the day. And then I just find at night I'm just so exhausted, and knowing that I still have a string of shifts left, depending on when I get home, get turned around, have eaten dinner, and whatever else that I'm working on. Sometimes it's like 9 o'clock, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go for a walk right now. So I end up just having a nice shower, getting comfy in bed, and reading a book till lights out. I don't know if it's good or bad. Sometimes I just got to make that call, right? Maybe it would have benefited me if I had gotten some more movement in. And then some days that I'm just like, nah, I just want to go to bed. So I think it's important to discern what your body needs and don't make it wrong. Don't don't shit on yourself, right? It's something I have to practice. It's something I'm getting better at. I'm not making myself wrong for it. Anyway, whether or not it was for my best interest, I think it was, especially because in the last couple of days of my string of shifts, I started getting a little bit of like a touch of a sore throat. Still is there when I swallow. It's just like a teeny tiny bit. It's not really super noticeable. But that tells me being aware of, I have a pretty close relationship with my body and I pick things up early and quickly. That tells me that's like the first sign of like I am feeling run down. So that factored into not going for a walk in the evening, and just wanting to rest and get into bed and just have like a real wind down time so that it started earlier than if I'd like done an hour walk around town. So that is, yeah, that has helped me over the last few days. The other thing is when I did get out for walks, it was nice to just go along the river, and I find water very grounding and relaxing, even just being by it, not necessarily having to make contact with it. But I can tell you yesterday was a one of the more difficult days that we sometimes have in this job. Sometimes we work difficult cases that can be, um, especially if we don't put up all those barriers to protect ourselves from the feelings we can feel if we have difficult cases. It can weigh on us a little bit. However, it is also important to do the things. This is why I am so passionate about having a soul care tool belt, because I work in a first responder type job. When we have to work these types of cases, we do have to disconnect emotionally during the case so that we can do our job and do it well. And then it's important after to reconnect back into our body, back into our sensations, back into the world, and process some of those difficult emotions if they came up or we were kind of holding them down while we were working. So yesterday was a bit of a rough start to the work day. And I found myself later on just needing, like really desiring, like I need to go for a walk. I need to kind of recalibrate. I need to reconnect. So I went for a walk and I saw a colleague leaving for the day when I went out. So I got to talk to them and kind of walk with them a little bit and then continued on my own when they got to their car. And I walked down by the water first and I found myself going straight for the fountain. There's a fountain along the water, like the river walk kind of thing. And I sat along the edge. It's kind of like a little bit of a pool and there's flowing water and this fountain. And I found myself sitting on the edge. I rolled up my pants, took my Birks off, and I stuck my feet in the water. It wasn't super, super cold, but it was cold enough that it took a little bit to adjust. And I found myself kind of kicking my legs a little bit in the water, moving them, but also holding my legs still and feeling the flow of the water go over my feet. I had earbuds in that I had been listening to a podcast. I decided to switch it off and put on my favorite meditation music, my meditation track or song, whatever you want to call it. And I listened to that on repeat for, I don't know, it was probably more than 10 minutes because when I realized how long I'd been gone, I was like, oh, I better get back to the office. So with inside what I'm allowed, but on the kind of upper edge of it. And it was lovely. There was at first I was kind of by myself, and then a few people came and were doing the same thing or whatever. So there's voices, they were chit-chatting. I kind of just drowned it out. I focused on my breath. I had my hand over my heart. I had my eyes closed. And I just kind of surrendered to the song I was listening to the sensations of the breeze that I was feeling, the warmth of the sun on my face, the current of the water lapping over my feet, the sensation of the spray from the fountain that would occasionally, depending on the direction of the wind, would kind of hit me. So just a little bit of water, like a mist, and just kind of really focusing on my breath too. Nice, slow, deep, nourishing breaths, feeling my hand over my heart, connecting back in with my body, and having this intention of like coming back to a center and truly just grounding so that when I go back to work, whatever happens, whatever cases we work, I have that. I'm kind of restored, I'm recalibrated. And I found that on my walk back to the office, I just felt so much more relaxed and like, okay, I'm ready to tackle whatever. And I think it's important that whatever job we do or whatever kind of your role is, if you find yourself, you do get dysregulated just by life, doing these things early so that the stress in our body isn't adding up and we're not doing it because we're at our wits' end, but doing it because I felt a little activated. I was just like, oh, it's been a day already and the day's not over. Thankfully, I had the opportunity on my lunch, and the privilege is not lost on me that my office is right by a beautiful river. But I had this opportunity, and I make it a priority that on my lunch today, I'm going to go for a walk and I'm going to sit and dip my feet in the water. And it brought me back to that grounded place that the rest of the day it was fine. And we worked some more cases. The day went by and I was super excited to leave work that day because it had been a long stretch, and now I have a few days off that I'm going to enjoy not being there. I love my job. I love going in every day. The hardest part for me is just like early mornings, and it's not because I don't want to go to work. It's just because I like sleeping in. So I slept in today. I was so looking forward to not setting an alarm this morning, and it was like the best thing. Now I get some time to spend with family for a few days. We're going camping, and I'm going to bring books with me, and it's just kind of another opportunity to rest and recalibrate, and having those like in that intentional time with family where I'm in the moment. Um and more relaxation this time than our last trip with the boat, because even though it really like fed my soul, I was physically tired when we got home because I think I said before, we were averaging like 17,000 steps a day. Like my body was like, oh man, we're on the go like every day. So that's it's not to complain about that. I love doing that on vacations. If I'm going somewhere new, I love to explore. I love to like make the most of the places that I'm visiting and see all the nooks and crannies and the local spots and all that stuff, right? Camping is a whole different vibe. We're staying in one place. We get to kind of sleep in. We're having meals together with family, and then everyone kind of does their thing throughout the day, and then we kind of have campfires and like do stuff in the evening. So it's going to be a totally different vibe. It'll be very nourishing. And then I'll come back and have a couple more weeks of kind of like push, push, push till the end of the season with regular shifts and overtime. And it's the nature of the work. And with that, in order to make it work the best that we can, we have to have those tools in place, that understanding those early signs of what does my body need. And so part of that, like I was saying, we ended up not going on this weekend outing to Wambo. I told Eric a couple nights ago, because I still had one more day shift. I said honestly, like with Wambo, I could take it or leave it at this point. Like I am bone tired. And it's wonderful that he's been so supportive and understanding of my situation, and just I'm being honest about how I feel. um and even with the scratchy throat, like I could be hard on myself and say, well, I obviously didn't do a good enough job because I've got a scratchy throat, but I really look at it as um I feel those first signs, and what do I need to do? I need to go to bed early. So as soon as I got home, I got ready for bed and I laid in bed and I watched a movie till I fell asleep, and then that was it. And I slept in this morning. I got up way later than I have in a long, like, well, not a long time, but at least in the last while with all these shifts. And then just kind of had a quiet start. I did a few things. I went and got mail. And then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go weed the garden. And I did a bunch of weeding just, in the cracks of the patio, stuff like that too. I kind of worked away in the yard a little bit like that. So it was nice to have that connection with nature, even though I had gloves on because I'm pulling weeds that some of them have like spikes on them and whatnot, whatever they are. But it was nice to be connected with nature and get some of that manual labor done. I was moving my body in that way, and then came in, kind of like had a nice shower, got turned around, and here I am recording. Now, shortly I will get turned around, get packed up, I guess I should say, head to the boat for some weekend time. And hopefully before the end of the weekend, now that we're home, I will pop down and see my granny because I haven't seen her in a longer stretch than I usually like to. And I also know that, excuse me, after this weekend, we're heading camping. And then I will have a string of overtime shifts as well as my normal shifts. And I won't be able to see her basically until like the end of the month. Unless I go, there's a couple times where I'll work a night shift and then I come off nights and then I work the next day. So I'm basically sleeping half the day, getting ready to work the next morning. Those are hard ones. Like those are kind of days that, especially this time of year with all the shifts that I've been working and the way my body's been feeling a little bit run down, not having as much emotional capacity. That was one of the reasons I was like, I need to go ground, because I just felt my mental, emotional capacity needed a bit of a like a come down and recalibrate. I like to use those, we call it short change, those turnaround days to just kind of, do I have some laundry to do? I'm gonna sleep in and just have like a slower day because it helps me, my body to adjust and get ready, and also just keep it healthy. So I guess the moral of this episode and stuff is check in with yourself. If you find you're going at a super fast speed, check in with yourself. Bring that awareness to your body because it'll give you those signals and you'll pick up on them sooner. If anyone who's known me for a length of time, especially like going back years, I had one close friend tell me, you're the busiest person I know. And I was like, whoa, really? And I still tend to stay very busy. I do have a very full life, I'll say that. But unlike before, there's less force. I'm still working on it because it's kind of like when you have that lifestyle, it's not just a life switch, a light a life switch. I guess that too, a Freudian slip right there. Light switch where you can just change the routine or the behavior. But I don't feel bad about not going to Wambo. I don't have FOMO because I'm like, what's the most important? The most important is like feeling good and staying healthy, especially because I don't want to be sick while we're camping with family. I want to be able to enjoy myself. And that means in the next couple days, I need to get extra sleep, drink extra water, fluids, nourish my body so that whatever my body's struggling with will work itself out. But that's what I can control. I can control how much sleep I'm getting and what I'm prioritizing so that my body can do its thing, because I do truly believe that our body can heal itself, but we have to put it in the right environment with the right circumstances so that it can do its thing. And sometimes we need some more time, whatever that looks like, right? So my focus this weekend is to get more sleep, get a few things done, but things that are kind of on the slower side. And did I get all the weeding done? No. But I did enough that it was like, okay, I feel like I've got a dent in it. I'm good for now. I'm gonna go switch gears and do a couple other things that are a little maybe more nourishing. So that's it for me. Um, I think by the time this episode comes out, it will be the 19th. So, in that case, tomorrow, if you're listening to this on the 19th, is our monthly class. It's on August topic is the Wim Hof method. So you can join us live inside the Living on Lemonade Facebook community, or wait till next week and it'll probably be the episode for the podcast and the YouTube channel. And then the next day, the 21st, which is a Wednesday, we have Soul Care Hour at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can get the Zoom link through the Living on Lemonade community. And that's our kind of community and mentorship hour where we just like hold space for each other, chit chat, catch up on life, share ideas and stuff. And it's lovely. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There was something else I thought of very quickly and it flew away as quickly as it came in. So perhaps I will, it was when I was thinking about the monthly class. That's okay. I don't want to think too long on here. But yeah, a couple things coming up and then we'll figure out September. Oh, I remember now. Regarding content. So I've had lots of like I've just been riffing lately on the podcast. I hope that there's value in it for you. I hope there's some stories that connect anecdote analogies with life and just kind of sharing my journey and showing how mindfulness and curiosity can look in the everyday and what kind of breakthroughs it's helped me with. Hopefully it can apply to you. I get in my head, I'll be honest, I've been getting in my head a little bit about these podcast episodes being like, am I just blabbering on? Like, is there any value to this? So I think there is. Maybe like send me a like, hey, it's okay, you're all good. I do set the intention before I start recording that what I talk about, like there that whoever it will land on the ears that it needs to land on in the way that it needs to land. And I kind of surrender the rest. Now, I will say it has been on my mind and on my to-do list that when the overtime season kind of winds down, life's a little bit more normal, I guess you could say, and I have more capacity, more time, more energy. I have a few people in mind that I'm going to interview and do collaborations with. So we will have more episodes where it's not just me blabbering into the mic and the camera. Stay tuned for that. I have told a few people, let's chit chat again. Like let's follow up in September after Labor Day weekend when I can breathe a little bit more and just have the capacity to do more because I can be honest with myself. I don't have it right now and I wouldn't try to force that because it wouldn't serve me or anyone else. So yeah, this fall I'm going to record some episodes with people that I think will be great collaborators and have wonderful stories and I'm seeing where the podcast is kind of evolving to like naturally different subject matter and stuff. It really started, as you know, my grief story and I did kind of stop it for a while. I think I was at a point where I was like, I'm not sure if I'm ready to go there on certain chapters of my life. I know at some point I'll circle back and kind of like continue the timeline, but for now I've just been enjoying sharing about the observation I have in the day-to-day life and things that I wouldn't notice if I wasn't being intentional about kind of living mindfully and curiously. So I hope the last few episodes have given you some nuggets. If you have subject matter or topics that you'd love to hear about, or you have questions, like just send me a message on Instagram in the Living on Lemonade community. Come join us if you're not there and you are on Facebook. It's very like preliminary right now. I have kind of mindfulness posts every day that go in and it's kind of a bit of a formula right now because that's what works with me with my schedule and my capacity. However, I got lots of ideas that are written in my phone and it will start to build as I have the time and the capacity to do so. If you are interested, I do have the Create Your Calm foundational course, topics mindfulness, meditation, stress in the nervous system, burnout and burnout and resilience, and then the other one is like surrender. So if those topics sound interesting to you and you would like to learn about them, I do have a course available. I'll have the links in the show notes. So there's different ways you can find me, be in my space and energy, and work with me through this self-paced course. So it's just it's $111 Canadian. There's a checkout page thing. You can buy it. You immediately have access to all the modules. It's like go at your own pace, lifetime access. It's a magical thing. It's lovely. So if you're just kind of beginning this journey or just something you want to prioritize and you're curious about these topics and how you can kind of start weaving it through your life, there's tools, there's meditations in there. So it's very much like things that you can implement into your daily life. It's not just me talking about these subjects. It's like how can you start to bring these topics into your life. So it's a goodie. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me anytime. And I hope everyone's doing well. Send you a hug if you need it. And we will see you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.